Welcome to the podcast, Appetite for Distortion, episode number 353. My name is Brando. Welcome back to the podcast. I guess we could say, Mr. Derek Day. I didn't mean to rhyme, but here we are.
Ah, nice. What is up, Brando? Nice to be back on Appetite for Distortion.
I'm really excited to talk to you. I've been wanting to speak with you just one-on-one for a while. People may remember back at episode 302. I had to remind which episode it was, but it was last September, which seems like forever ago. It was you, another Derek Frank. It was also Mr. Teddy Zigzag and the lovely Roberta Freeman. We were all on together. We kind of had Roberta and friends talking about it. Well, I wish you were here for cover, which you all contributed to. So it's just so cool. You know, Roberta's face lights up when she talks about you. So it's very cool to now.
That's awesome. I call her Birdie. Everyone calls her Birdie because she's like a bird and she's so wonderful.
Ah, Birdie. Okay. I was thinking like that sounded like an old lady's name, like Blanche or something. But now I get it, like a bird. Okay, that's better.
It's like Roberta or Birdie.
Yeah, makes more sense in my head now. So let me ask, because I appreciate the time that you're giving me, because you're currently on the road with Poison, Mötley Crüe, Def Leppard, Joan Jett, which sounds such like a crazy sentence to say. So if you're on the road with Mötley Crüe, are you still awake? Or are you just getting up right now? Because we're talking as we're recording this. This is Wednesday morning. So are you awake or?
I'm like as far as my being, I'm like kind of half and half. I'm like awake. It's like 9 a.m. over here, and I don't even know where I am. I think I'm in North Carolina, and but yeah, no, it's a lot of traveling and a lot of big stadium setup days.
You know, I'm really upset because I wish I could have seen you. I had plans to see you when you were at Citi Field in New York just a few days ago, but I had to work. I usually work from home. As you see now, I'm in my home studio in Queens, but I had to go into Q104 to just, nothing crazy. And I missed it. So I'm hoping I'm bummed, but I'm glad, everyone seems to be having a great time. I had a lot of friends that went. So I guess the first thing is, how is it going? How is this tour going?
It's been freaking amazing, dude. It's like we've played about 7 shows or 6 or 7 shows already, and like it's just euphoric. I mean, not only the audience capacity changes every day because some people, like you say, they have work or they're coming from work. If it's a Saturday, there'll be more. If it's a Sunday, there'll be even more. Monday is weirdly enough, Tuesdays have been cool. But like just having a stage, it's like a whole new playground, and like it's teaching me how to communicate with my band more and how to different forms of endurance. It's just been a beautiful learning experience, but most of all, just really super duper fun.
I was going to ask about that. You touched about what it's like being the opening act, Classless act, the opening act, but it's every day it's a different show in a different city because you don't know. And it's no fault of your own kind of thing. People are getting off work for whatever reason. They're just going to see Mötley Crüe. They don't care about anybody else or Poison. They're just going later. So I guess how is that? Do you go into it with, you're a very energetic frontman. Do you go into it with the same energy, or do you ever go out there and kind of being like, okay, not as full, but you understand what the gig is? Like, or is it the same mentality every time?
It's the same mentality every time. I think like getting to perform on a stage, on a stadium, or like on a, like wherever, like on the street. And I was raised on playing on the streets. That's how like I got my practice. It's just like you got to put 100,000,000% into it, and always go for something new. Always try one thing spontaneous, and I think that like that little tidbit keeps it exciting. If you can excite yourself, you're always living a happy life. So peaceful, if anything.
What have you done that's spontaneous then? Can you?
Every time it's something different, like it's like, I mean, I always roll on the floor. So that's not new, but there's a new way to roll on the floor, there's a new way to kick your legs up in the air and try to, just hang, like, do something funny. Or we sing the same set every day. So that can get a little monotonous. but we could find a new way to say a lyric, or like a new inflection, or maybe a new face to throw to it. Like even the little things, it all works.
What about having your album out finally for the first time? Have you noticed people started singing the lyrics and now knowing the songs? Have you noticed a difference?
There's been a few people, yeah, it's kind of cool. And like we have fans in each state, like a little bit of fans in each state, and like so some of them have been like kind of practicing them for the show, so that's really cool. And it's really cool also to see people we never have seen before, never seen us before, that like try to sing along in the second chorus. They're like, they're kind of singing their own lyrics, and it's just fun. Like this crowd is so fun. Everyone's just here to have a good time.
I love it. So welcome to the show, which is such an appropriate name for an album. Just welcome to us. It's been such a history. Before we go back into the tour, such a history with this band. Fans may know, and it's interesting. I was, seeing articles about, of course, Classless Act making news everywhere. I'm part of this big stadium tour that everyone's been looking forward to. It's been hyped up for years at this point. People not knowing maybe who's in the band. Episode, I still remember, episode 40. So what did I say? This was episode number 353. So episode 40 ago, we had, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I'm not on tour with Mötley Crüe, but I'm getting to talk to Derek Day, which is pretty cool. We had London Hudson on, Slash's son, drummer, and Nico Zangaris, guitarist, who were in Classless Act. They started it. They told us like the name. It started with somebody heard. I think it might have been Nico saying that he heard somebody call Donald Trump a Classless Act, and now it was like that sparked the name of the band. And since then, as bands do, lineup changes, and that's the interesting thing. Because they were 15 at the time. I mean, things changed. They're in a great band, Saint Electric now. So I'm just curious, where did your involvement? How did you come in? And can you kind of maybe bring us up on up to speed about who's in the band now? Because there are people confusing, like, oh, London Hudson's still in the band. That's why they're out with Mötley Crüe. No. This is a new band kicking ass. So kind of catch us up on the history of Classless.
Absolutely. Like, this band was born out of social media, and like they reached out to me every which way through like Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and they're like, come write with us, come jam with us. And Dane Piper was in the band too. He's a rhythm guitar player, and to this day he's the longest standing member. And but when I joined, they just had like instrumentals. So one of the first songs we written was our namesake song. It was Classless Act. And so we just, I came up with some melodies and lyrics, and we just kind of made that happen. And I took the name sort of and kind of recreated a new meaning for it, because the negative connotation to it was kind of like, oh, okay, here's something about, it sounds cool, but I don't want it to be like, if we're going to be a Classless Act, I don't want to be like a negative dude. And that whole album is like, welcome to the show. It's like, come be classless with us if you can. Welcome to our band. Be in our band. And it's been like, ever since then, we must have gone through several bass players, different guitar players, and drummers, many drummers. But now we have our perfect five, and it's Griffin Tucker on lead guitar. We found him through TikTok. We're just like trying to find the right guy. We have Franco Gravante on bass, and he's a producer as well. He produced our namesake song. And we have Dane Piper on rhythm guitar, Chuck McKissick on the drums, and me, Derek Day, on singing. And we all write, we all love to sing, we all love to play guitar, we all love to play piano and drums. Everyone plays a little bit of everything, which is cool, because that's kind of like the dream band. That's what everyone in the band wants. We want very versatile people to communicate with. We could kind of talk to each other in musical language. And yeah, it started like it was a mission using the tool of social media. But as soon as we got the right members, we put our phones down and we're like, okay, now let's make music. Let's write. And yeah.
I love that. And as fans, obviously, of this podcast know how many lineup changes, not just the famous one with Guns N' Roses after Slash, but I mean, just forming Guns N' Roses when it was LA Guns and Rose and Hollywood Rose, but there was no social media then. They were not famous then. There wasn't a spotlight on them. So I think it's a real success story to see this band that was close. Again, it was a couple years ago. They were looking for a singer who would end up being you, which is just amazing. And you wrote this song that ended up having Vince Neil on it, right? Is that the namesake song?
Yeah.
So, how did you? Again, unfortunately, I missed it on Friday. How do you perform that live when the Vince part comes up? Like, do people? And also, I guess with that, because they surprised maybe as they're learning about you, like, whoa, Vince Neil is on this track. Like, I better pay attention. Can you is he going to come out on stage and perform it with you at some point?
We're hoping he is. We're still getting our like tour legs under us, and so we're trying. I think even every band is still trying out new songs in their set and stuff. They're just trying to like make sure they can nail it.
Yeah.
And that's why there hasn't been so much communication. There has been a bit though. We've talked to every band at some point, but just very in passing, very polite gestures and thank you, goodbye, thanks for having us, blah, 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 leaving. And maybe at catering, hey, I'm a huge fan, I worship you, bye, and stuff like that. Well, yeah, we're hoping we could sneak Vince in there like for a show. It's just a matter of popping out at the right time because he's so busy. But like I've been hiding behind monitors and trash cans whenever I see him. I'm like trying to get him, but he gets away. But live now, I just sing his part. We play straight up rock, like two guitars, drums, bass, vocals. We could take liberties. We could change up structures if we wanted to. I just take his lyric and I go ahead and go for it.
When did you find out? Obviously, I would be the same. I am the same when I'm in a radio station being like, hi, I worship you. Maybe can I get a picture? I'm the same way, even though I could be a peer. I'm also working in radio and everything. So I identify with your personality there. But when did you find out about Tommy Lee's broken ribs? I mean, that's been like, wow. And the tour's been going off without a hitch. When did you know?
I know. I found out like almost 2 weeks before, or no, like a week and a half before, like right when it happened. And we didn't, of course, didn't tell anyone because we just wanted everyone to relax and make sure, it's going to happen. Because even on the first show, he played like 7 songs, which is close to half of the set. And then we had Ozzy's drummer, Tommy, another Tommy, come out and play the rest of the set. And Tommy would come out for Home Sweet Home. He would leave. He'd come out for another one. He would like take a break, But even then, he would jump off stage. When he would jump off, you could hear him play cowbell backstage along to the songs. He's just it's in his heart, and the music just flows through him. But yeah, we found out a week before, and like, he's just a badass. Last night here in North Carolina, at Bank of America Stadium, he played the entire set. So now he's just doing it. Just like going for it, that was show number 6, I think. So he's just like, he doesn't, his doctor is begging him not to, but he's like, fuck you, dude, we have a tour to play. And he's just on it.
Is that an inspiration? Because, and forgive me, this is the older brother of me coming out. How old of a dude are you? Because I'm 38. You look like one of my brothers. So what are you, 20?
I'm 28, actually.
You're 28. Okay. So I remember when, I'm just kidding. When is that like inspirational? Like to me, that's inspirational to see Tommy fighting through injury, Vince going out there despite the world against him, Mick Mars, and again, that's just one band. Talk about Def Leppard. I've had a bunch of the members on the show. Then inspiration being like, you're 28. Oh man, when I'm 58, I know I can do it. I know I can do it.
Absolutely. Molly's a great example because, man, they can't stop it. And Nikki says it every show, like, you can't kill Mötley Crüe. And, like, you can't cancel Mötley Crüe. You can't squash Mötley Crüe. You just cannot. Like, even we try to do it, and we can't stop Mötley Crüe. It just keeps going. It's like this beautiful, awesome, like, kick-ass, like, band. It's, like, unstoppable. It's no wonder they can sell out stadiums. Because there's just something unstoppable about this band. There's an aura to it and the rawness, and it's super inspiring. Like, man, I can't, and Vince, by the way, is just killing it. Like, I'm sure there's videos leaking out now, like very specific moments, and people are like trying to find the negative in it. But if you just watch the show, if you're looking at it, if you see more context, you're like, oh, actually, he's really freaking killing it. And he's like, the whole band is just on it. Mick is incredible. Everyone is just 110%. killing it.
I've been seeing the same thing. Yeah, when people isolate a certain part of the song, and yeah, people have bad nights. But I mean, I'm talking about recently. I mentioned this last episode. There's an article or a TikTok going around of Axel. It's like 3 seconds, and then comparing it to Herbert the pervert from Family Guy.
Right,
And
right,
it's
right.
like, yeah, those 3 seconds. I'm sure. And if you isolate my voice at a certain point, I sound like Fran Drescher from the nephew or from the nanny. The nephew. I'm the nephew of Fran Drescher. So yeah, I'm with you absolutely. And so that's really great to hear. And I was reading an interview that you did, and it kind of reminded me of like why it's so cool. Like, yeah, you can't make Mötley Crüe other than with those members. You can't Poison with those members. Def Leppard, those members. Same thing with Classless Act. That's why this is the right time. You use the analogy of, I know we have a 10-year difference, but I get it. The Power Rangers, right? And
Yeah,
Megazord. So I was curious, which one are you? Like, what color are you? This is an important question. The hardest one I've asked so far.
that is dark. It's a crazy color. It would have to be a new color. No, I don't know. I don't know, man. I feel like
Put you on the spot. It's the hardest question to ask. I don't know. Are you Jason? Are you Zach? Are you? I'm remembering Billy. What's the yellow Trini?
yeah, Trina, I would say I'm either pink or yellow.
All
I
right,
would
so
love to be one of those.
here we go.
And I don't know what part. I don't know if I'd be the arm or the head.
You're
Yes,
the pink ranger.
that's me.
You're the Pink Ranger. Which, if you're watching on Zoom, I for some reason have a Pink Ranger toy. I have a bunch of toys, and for some reason, I have the Pink Ranger toy. And as soon as I saw, you mention that, I'm like, I gotta show Derek my Power Ranger toy, which sounds weird out of context. See, if you just isolate that part of the podcast, you think I'm a weirdo, which is
Exactly.
which is, I guess, kind of true. Any surprises that's been happening on tour? I mean, everything must be a surprise, but has there been one thing being like, whoa, like we're here, like this is crazy? I know you met a lot of guys in passing, but has there been whether it's a fan interaction or I don't know, a wink from Bret Michaels? Has there been a moment being like, wow, like where it almost felt surreal, in that?
Yeah. Well, as far as like, I remember the first day I was walking around like Mr. Cool. I was like, this ain't a big deal, whatever. Yeah, it's a show. I will do it. But I was trying to downplay it. But when we finally go on stage, I'm like, this is insane. Like you see the grandeur and you're like, this is crazy. And like you're singing your song, like my songs I've written and like I've put my blood, sweat, and tears into, and I'm singing it. Like that's when it hits you. You're like, I can't believe I'm singing this, And at that point, it was like only 8,000 people. It wasn't a full stadium, but it was a lot of people, and you're singing to this big part, this big thing. And that was like the moment where it hit me on the first day. And every day I get that same thing. I'm like, this is weird. But one thing that surprised me was how super duper awesome, nice every single person is. There's not one like bad mood even. Like it's a tough job too, but like everyone is so freaking nice and I don't understand it. Like there's so much stress, but like Bret Michaels, within 40 minutes of entering the stadium, Bret like comes to us and like, you guys are gonna do great. What's your names? Let me shake your hand. You want to take a picture? Let me give you some advice, and just in case you need any, you don't have to take it. It's just super duper nice.
I love
CC
that.
DeVille talks all the time. Yeah, everyone. CC DeVille, Ricky Rocket. People just come to us and they're just like, "How you guys doing? Do you need anything? Can we do anything for you? Just let us know." And like giving us advice and compliments and like they watch our set, which is like, why are you doing this? This doesn't make sense. And like we've talked to Nikki and Nick and some of the members from Def Leppard. We talked to Joan. Everyone's just so freaking cool, and all the crew too. It's like the professionalism is beyond like anything you've ever seen, because every single show something goes wrong inevitably due to the heat, the 110-degree weather, or sometimes there's unexpected rain or humidity, and it's just something breaks. But the crew fixes it like in 3 minutes or 5 minutes, like it never happened, and it's like it's mind blowing. Like they're just so seasoned And then but they're doing it like not with a smile. They're doing it like I'm doing my job. Boom. And as soon as you talk to them, it's like, hey bro, how you doing? Like it's like nothing happened. And it's kind
It's
of like
all
this weird Truman Show bizarre. It's kind of bizarre to be in
yeah.
this.
Yeah, and I love it's almost like NASCAR when those guys have to go out and fix something. They just go out and do their job, and then they just go back. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. It's just doing my job, and I couldn't do it. It was the speed and just kind of hitting the ground running because you don't want to stop the show. So I guess now is the focus on it because finally the album is out. And are you working on new music? Are you focusing on the tour? Are you living in the moment? Are you thinking about the future? What's going on?
I'm definitely thinking about the future constantly, but I'm also trying my best to live in the moment.
Sure.
And we're constantly writing, but we're not going to release another album for a minute because we're just so
Sure.
excited about this one. We just want to tour. Like after this tour, we're going to go tour again. Like in November, October, we're just gonna go around the states and go abroad and see as much as we can, do as much as we can before the next year. And then next year we're just gonna keep doing it all year long. And maybe with surprise little singles, we'll go into the studio, just record something, just to release for fun, because that's what we love to do. We just like we did that with a Christmas song. We've done it like last minute with new songs on the album. This first album, we're like, let's just record this new one, whatever. Blah. And so we always have that spontaneity involved. But other than that, it's just touring, and I have big plans for the band in my head, at least for the next year. So.
Well, you're well on your way. I mean, you're living the big plan, so to speak, and which is just amazing. I need to ask, obviously, since this is Appetite for Distortion, and I'm not making this up, you were kind enough off the air to be like, oh, I like your podcast. It's very hard for me to accept compliments. So I have to phrase it like this to say thank you. But I want to know your 6 degrees of GNR Bacon. Obviously, we know you work with Roberta Freeman. Anything else? Any other stories you can tell us about seeing the band in concert? Have you met any of the dudes? What Guns N' Roses story do you potentially have?
I've played on stage with Gilby Clarke a couple of times, just on a whim. I played on stage with his daughter, like on a whim,
Frankie, yeah.
Who's an incredible new artist. I think you guys got to listen to her. Has she been on the show?
I think I've tried to reach out once and I didn't hear back. I would like to get her on the show.
She's got charisma, like damn, like dude, she's great. And like I just run into her like near my house walking my dog a few times, and I got to play with her. And I've met Slash a few times in his studio. We got to record a few demos in his studio, and he's a very sweet guy. And that's about it as far as like meeting them. But I've seen Guns twice, and it's just always awesome. I also got to meet DJ Ashbaugh. Like DJ saw my band perform, another band, like an old band I was in.
Okay.
In a place in North Hollywood or in Tarzana, and it was just him in the room. I don't know why. We were playing to a completely empty like room, and I was playing rhythm guitar, and he saw the whole set, and he totally yeah, that was a weird experience. I think he was just a friend of the bassist or something at the time. I don't remember who was in the band.
You played just for DJ Asheville once? That's just how it went?
Yeah.
Okay.
And his girlfriend.
Okay. All right. That's funny. Very personal show. Very personal.
And it wasn't intentional. Yeah, it wasn't intentional. Like we wanted people to come out, but we're just like nobody was coming out. And
okay.
DJ had a connection with one of us. I can't remember who or why, but anyway. But yeah, I've seen Guns twice and I've loved it. I'm a huge Guns fan, and yeah, I mean, what can you say? My favorite album is still though Chinese Democracy.
That's a big thing. That's a big thing to say, and it goes to show you the last episode I did with a fan doesn't like that record at all. Now we go to Derek Day, his favorite album. So what's your favorite song of China? I like it. It took me a few listens, but I do love the album. Cool. Favorite song? Do you have a favorite song off Chinese?
That's tough, man, because they're all like freaking real good.
Better. There was a time. Street of Dreams. They just started playing. There's the title track. I'm gonna name them all.
Yeah.
I used I should say my sister-in-law, I guess I can call her now. I just got married and she used the lyrics of This I Love to marry us, which was interesting. I never thought in my life I would have a Chinese democracy song used to marry me, but
Wow.
here I am. But all right, I don't want to put too much pressure. It's not like the Power Ranger. You don't have to keep naming your favorite stuff.
Okay? I know.
All good.
I love to sing Street of Dreams. Like I sing along to it all the time. I love singing that from my voice. I feel like every song, it's why it's such a great album. It's like every song, it's such a different thing. And like, I love it. I just think it's like, if you're to play it on an acoustic guitar or a piano, it's like this brilliant, like kind of medieval, beautiful written song. It's like awesome. And, but yeah, maybe my favorite would be something like, let me just pick one for fun, just for fun.
Okay, for fun. Yeah, I'm not gonna hold it against you.
I think Catcher in the Rye.
Okay,
probably.
Okay,
for its meaning and for its changes, its structure, and everything.
That's just really cool. Again, people need to understand. I think it's just. I talked to Doug Goldstein about this, former manager. There's a certain era of Guns N' Roses fans that discovered and loved Chinese democracy, and people need to understand that. Like, oh, it's not Guns N' Roses. Yeah, it is. It's a certain phase of it, and then we love all of it. So it's kind of like Classless act. It's just but I'm glad that you have the Pink Ranger is now formed, the Megazord, with the rest of. See, you're never gonna grow up, Derek. This is your future. Well, hopefully you keep your hair, but you're looking at your future right here.
Yeah, I'm honored. I'm truly honored.
Thank you so much, man, for just giving me the time. I mean, congratulations on all of this. I mean, again, I'm really upset that I missed this tour, but now knowing that you're going to be I don't know how you're going to do it. If you're headlining small clubs, I'll catch you though when you're in New York City or Long Island, when you're in my area.
Oh yeah, we'll be back.
Absolutely.
We'll be back for sure.
All right, excellent. Well, that does it for this episode of Appetite for Distortion. Oh, and let me say, next time, if next time you're walking your dog and you happen to run into Frankie Clark and you want, hey, this is the podcast, you can be my co-host. So you can be my co-host to interview Frankie. Just throwing it out there.
Oh, I'd love to, actually. I'd love to.
All right. Well, maybe that'll be a future episode of Appetite for Distortion. So when will you see that one or the next one? In the words of Axl Rose concerning Chinese democracy, you'll see it. I don't know if soon is the word.